Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, this is Jackie Kashian. Welcome to the Dork Forest. It's episode 56. I'm in my living room with my fellow comedy film nerds, writers, and founder, one of the founders. Anyway, you know the websites, JackieKashian.com, dorkforest.com, the donation button. Knock yourselves out, people. And I got new trinkets, so if you order anything off the merch page, you will get a magnet. You'll get a Ranger of the Dork Forest magnet. And by the way, if you just want a Ranger of the Dork Forest magnet, send me like $2. Do you know what that would be? That'd be $1, which would be the cost of the envelope and the thing, and $1 for me having to put it all together. How do you feel about that? Is it PayPal? What do you care? Anyway, so that's about it. Sitting in the room, founder of Comedy Film Nerds, friend of the show, but has not been on pre-recorded, Chris Mancini. Welcome to the program.
Oh, great to be here. This is all new setup.
It's a whole new setup. Thank you, people who donated.
Yes.
And then, first time doing his podcast that isn't a Comedy Film Nerds podcast, Neal Weakley.
Why, hello.
Hello, Neal Weakley. What do you seek? What are you looking for?
Oh, so I just said a spider just crawled past the table.
Oh, that's creepy and wrong. There's a rule in this house.
Small,
and
not large one. It's not.
I don't care.
Not a wolf spider.
Not a wolf spider. Not a black widow.
Looked hungry. I'm just saying.
Bypassed the cashews, so it can't be that hungry.
Right. Oh, by the way, if you're allergic to nuts, these were
don't
processed
listen.
In a don't listen to the show.
Then it's too late.
It's too late. You're dead now.
Yeah. The peanut mist will go through the sound equipment into your ear balls.
Too many people have shoved Snickers bars in their pie holes while talking on this podcast. Was it just like a... I actually don't enjoy spiders,
No,
so was
it
it just
was-
like a Daddy Longlegs kind
It
of
was
thing?
tiny.
Or
It was
It
a
was
little,
tiny. Or
is it
about
just-
that big? It
was trying to get
very
away.
Small. It was. Yeah, he was
Okay,
just like
okay.
freaked out and he ran away.
good for him, because I don't know. I don't enjoy his work. Here's the deal with spiders. Inside the house, you're a dead man. Outside the house, unless you're a black widow, you go about your way. That's it.
That's fair.
That's fair enough.
And every spider should know that.
Really should.
I made a pact with him in a dream once. Anyway, it's a fascinating tale of my dreams and my spider nightmares when I would wake up screaming. Anyway,
Was it a spider herald?
Harold?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun, dun. I did have bugles out earlier. So we've made no plan. All we know about all of ourselves is that we enjoy comedy.
Indeed.
We enjoy film.
And movies and comic books.
And comic books, and we could talk about all that stuff. I like Neal. You were talking. You're more a Vertigo guy. You say
Yeah, most of the stuff I.
that's the publisher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an offshoot of DC.
But I have mentioned. I like to mention this this comic book almost every episode. Unwritten, people, get out there and read it.
I have to read
Mike
it.
Carey.
I have not, and Mike Carey is a great writer.
Now, what other stuff have you liked?
I loved the Lucifer series. It's
That was
amazing.
great. That was a spin-off of Neil Gaiman's Sandman.
Yeah.
And that was amazing.
Another favorite, of course, Neil
Right.
Gaiman. I'll read anything Neil Gaiman does.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Even
His shopping list would be fine too.
Yeah.
I mean, it was probably fascinating.
He even
I do.
did.
I follow him on Twitter. You guys follow Neil on
I
Twitter?
do.
Yeah, us and
Right.
1.6 million other people.
And his lovely now wife, I believe, Amanda Palmer.
Oh, I don't follow her, but Neil Gaiman once responded to one of my tweets.
Nice.
Sweet.
I almost took a screenshot, people. That's how dorky it got. That's how dorky it got.
I would have probably done the
what
same.
the heck, huh?
Yeah, sure.
He even did that miniseries that was good. What was it? The Eternals.
Yes.
He did. He did that.
Oh,
It was
right.
fun,
That was
too.
good.
Right. That was a Neil Gaiman. Mike Carey's Lucifer, though, I really like that.
Yeah.
So, I was talking to somebody, and they were like, yeah, Neil Gaiman created it. And I was like, yeah, but Mike Carey wrote 75 issues. I'm gonna let Mike Carey own that one.
Yeah.
That's fine.
You can give him a little credit at that point.
At
After
that point.
issue 74,
Right, anything
Yeah.
in your late 60s, I'll cut you some slack.
yeah, by 75, yeah, you own it. I remember reading the Sandman when it first came out. It was I remember it wasn't even that popular. I'm like,
No.
When did it come out? It was forced upon me just 6 years ago.
was it 80s or 90s? Had to be 90s.
88 or 89.
Late
it might
80s,
have been.
huh?
It might have been
Yeah.
the 89.
I could
Yeah.
put it in the notes, or you
And-
could look it up.
And I remember reading an interview with Neil Gaiman where he was first kind of coming on the scene. It was like, yeah, we did some signings and 12 people showed up. No one cared.
Yeah.
And they turned up into this blew up into this huge thing.
Yeah.
And one of the first comic books that they said women really gravitated towards,
was Sandman.
With Sandman, but the first horror comic that women actually enjoyed.
Wow. That's interesting because weirdly enough, I can read horror comics, but I can't watch horror movies. I can't read horror books. My idea of horror television is Bones. That is not horror television. I don't even know what...
No Dark Shadows for you?
No Dark Shadows, no True Blood, no Sparkle Vampires, none of it. It took me a while to get...
Sparkle Vampires, not really horror.
Not really vampires either.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
Ooh, somebody's bossy about vampires.
Hey, sorry, Sparkle Vampires just don't count.
Forget it.
They don't count.
Now, what are
Real
the, what
vampires
are
are probably the most angry about Sparkle Vampires. At least True Blood they could probably get on board with.
Is True Blood... No, True Blood is not Sparkle Vampires?
The only one that's Sparkle Vampires is Twilight, and that was and no fangs and all these ridiculous
no fangs.
Things. Yeah,
There's no fangs in Twilight.
No fangs in Twilight.
Oh,
that's
another
more
mistake
ridiculous I didn't know about. That's just one notch
Why wouldn't it be
and
no
angry
fangs?
werewolves. And angry. Oh my god, that trailer made me laugh so hard.
Most werewolves are probably angry.
The new
Surly.
The new
Surly for sure.
Oh, I love the new trailer. It's so we're just laughing hysterically. That new Twilight trailer. It's
which book is it, or which title is it?
Whatever the last one, Breaking Dawn or something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's they're pulling a Harry Potter, breaking it into two movies. And it was everyone's looking at a piece of paper and then getting angry and nuts. And then the werewolf, of course he doesn't have a shirt on. He looks at it and he starts running out and goes, and turns into a werewolf. And then you see the paper and it's like a wedding invitation between Edmund and Bella. It's the funniest thing.
Oh, that's fantastic.
I'm oh my God, hilarious.
Poor little emo werewolf.
Yeah.
They are all super emo.
So a product of...
You ever listen to Atmosphere? Emo hip-hop? You ever listen to them?
I haven't.
A little hip-hop group from Minneapolis that is pretty kind of emo.
That's funny.
It's but I like them just because I like a nice thing. Who doesn't like a nice thing? And you'd think that then I would give obviously Twilight a chance, but
you don't have to give Twilight a chance.
You know what? Tell me I don't have to give Game of Thrones a chance. Why don't you do that?
No, you do have to give Game of Thrones a chance.
Fucking absolve me of Game of Thrones.
No, you have to give Game of Thrones a chance.
You know what I've decided? I don't care that winter is coming. I don't care. I don't care that. I understand it's
coming. Don't you understand? There are 7 kingdoms. Not 5, 7.
Well, that's what I also don't appreciate is that he's on 5, and if he pulls a Robert Jordan and dies, granted, there'll be Brandon Sanderson to pick up the pieces, but it's...
Sprague de Camp. Wow, that's really dorky.
What is that? Go there.
He's the author that finished all of Robert E. Howard's Conan stories.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Oh.
Much to the chagrin of the fans.
I'm sure. And Robert Parker finished, it was was it a Dashiell Hammett or, no, it was a Chandler book, a Raymond Chandler book, and you're like, Spencer for Hire guy? Why don't you leave it?
Yeah.
And I like Robert Parker. I don't mind Robert Parker, but I really don't think he's Raymond Chandler. It's an entirely different vibe.
No.
Yeah. So you've read the Game of Thrones? Or have you just seen the TV?
No, I just, I think that...
you want to borrow them, they're right over there.
No, I want to read them and I want to see the show, and I have it on my queue. And here's why. Even sight unseen, it deserves a chance, because epic fantasy on television doesn't get on very often.
That's true.
So it's the kind of thing where, good or bad, you have to see it and support it at the beginning. If it's shitty, then don't support it. But it deserves a shake.
Well, let me tell you this. I have read 60 pages into the book. I have listened to about an hour of the audiobook. I have it on many different formats, is what I'm telling you, and I've given it a shot. I was just in Montreal, and
have you given it a shot visually?
I'm not. I don't have HBO, though. I suppose
you have to wait for the DVD.
There's BitTorrent, but let's not encourage that.
Let's not go there.
Let's not encourage that.
Quiet.
Nobody knows about that. That's just me knowing things, and I mean, I can't. yeah, I tried to read it, and it's just like, first of all, I can tell from page 10 or 12 that everyone's going to die. Everyone.
It was a violent time, Jackie.
Well, it is. Yes, those dire
A
wolves.
lot of swords and things.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that could kill you just walking outside the
a lot
cottage.
of pointy business. A lot of pointy knives.
Yeah.
Sure.
It wasn't the plague, it was a dragon. Something's going to get you. Walking just down the thoroughfare onto the cobblestones.
Exactly. I'm giving up on the headphones. It's too hot, even though I got the AC cranked in here. But, yeah, I think... yeah, I'm willing. I saw Legend of the Seeker, and I read 6 of those books.
Really?
Yeah.
Never read any.
Oh, Legend of the Seeker?
Yeah.
Didn't have to give that one a chance.
Oh, well, now why would I be absolved? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why you absolved me. You saw the picture of the author, which looked like every kind of banana head at a Ren fair, where it's just like, you ever meet those guys that are, they're just, I don't know, they're like, they look sort of dark-sidery, kind of pale, with all one-length hair, and then, but it's this burnished brown hair that's in a ponytail. And then he does this thing where he tilts his chin down so he has to look out through his eyebrows. And that's his headshot on the back of his Legend of the Seeker books.
It's
and
all ominous looking.
every book is the same as the last book. And the first book was pretty good. So I lasted easily 6 books, but there's like 14 books.
Wow.
And there is FX. I don't know if it's still happening, but there was a miniseries. They were doing this by the same people who did Hercules and Xena.
Yeah, that's...
Well, there was
Is that part of the problem as well?
Well, and Hercules and
TV
Xena were like
Yeah.
good starts, but then
That's
they
2
wore out their welcome pretty quickly. Like, Hercules and Xena were really fun.
Yeah.
And then they just went on
because
forever.
they poked fun of themselves.
And then
too.
it got
They
too
were
much,
kinda-
and then it was like, then after poking fun of yourself, then what's left? I'm like, well, now you've gone from camp to kitsch in the last couple seasons, and then it's like, well, no, I don't want to see that again. As a Legend of the Seeker. I don't want to see
Legend
that
of the
again.
Seeker. Legend of the Seeker didn't have the
it didn't have...
wink, wink. It was straight. They played
Yeah,
it all.
they played it
They
full on.
They didn't laugh at themselves
weren't
or poke
screwing
fun.
around at all.
They were serious.
Yeah, and that guy ripped
that was-
off...
I think that's why it didn't work.
It was like
Maybe.
Willow. I mean, in the
Yeah.
way that it was like there was a Gandalf guy, there was a
Right.
there
yeah.
was a
Was there a Seeker?
there was a Seeker. He is the
Seeker.
Seeker, and then there was the girl. He had she's some untouchable lady that he had a crush on. And,
Sure.
Right.
And then, but in the books, every single. You read the first one, and in the first one, he ends up being in bondage and being tortured by these. It's all S&M, and you're just like, it's a glimpse into this guy's sexual fantasies. And I don't need 120 pages
There
of
were
it.
there were scenes of hot women making out on that show.
Constantly?
Consistently.
They were, not constant, not every episode, but it was. I'd
go 3 out of 5.
Then it's actually even more of a mystery why it didn't do better.
Well, because they're doing that more and more. They're just like, you know what? And I think, quite honestly, it will inure the world to watching anybody make out. They're like, oh, okay. And the next thing, what I don't want to happen is someone making out with their dog. I don't want that happening. It's just like, I really find
That would have
attractive.
been season 3.
Season 3. That's a good-looking chicken. You ever see that chicken? Remember that in Midnight Run with Charles Grodin? And did you ever see that movie?
Yeah.
Long time ago, yeah.
It's Charles Grodin and De Niro.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's so much cursing.
I'm a white-collar criminal.
Right, he's talking to his kid.
Yeah.
You don't look like a criminal.
Yeah.
I'm a white collar.
Yeah.
Is your name Red? It's like, do you have red hair? Do you dye your hair? Remember that when he's getting the $20 bills out of the... I own that movie. I watched it a lot. I
All the
watch
time.
it. Yeah.
Right before the show.
Right before the show, I was watching it. That and Roger Rabbit over and over. What? No.
Roger Rabbit.
Remember Roger Rabbit?
I don't have to watch Roger Rabbit because I see Charles Fleischer at the Whole Foods constantly.
Me too. Me too.
And does he do the
Oh,
yeah.
while you're there?
Oh, yeah. No, he does.
He
In
will.
fact, when I have one of my kids with me, I just bring him, and then he entertains them for like 5 to 10 minutes.
That's awesome.
It's
He will work aisle
Leave him
too.
in the- leave
Let
him
me
in the
tell you.
yeah, and I can't get past him too because I'm walking. I hear behind me, Mancini. I recognize
really?
you from the back. So,
Oh, my God.
And then, but no,
You must have talked to him more than
funny.
once.
Oh, yeah, like many times. Every time, because he's there a lot. And then we were talking, and then he's entertained. So finally, I had to show my daughter Roger Rabbit. She'd never seen it. It's like, here's the guy that keeps entertaining you at the Whole Foods. Here he voiced this rabbit.
Right, and he did a lovely job.
Yeah. I'll tell you, that movie's really, really dated now when you watch it.
No, it holds up.
It does not hold
It
up.
holds up.
does not
American
hold up.
public, know in your heart that I am correct.
Yeah. No
have to see
way.
it. I
It
haven't seen
does.
it. I
It
haven't
does
seen it
not
in a
hold.
few
You know what?
years.
I'll
What
tell you this.
doesn't- what-
Okay,
what-
I'll
what
tell
doesn't-
you.
yeah.
Let me clarify that statement. The story.
You do
and
know
the
a lot more
characters-
about movies
The
than I
story
do.
and the characters hold up. The technology and the visual effects look incredibly like you're watching like 30s visual effects,
well-
like that kind of thing.
Well, that's fine.
But-
that's not.
That's- you ever
for
watch
that movie-
Gamera?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
The old original ones.
Yeah. I mean, you could see the guy with the
and the
hand
reason-
who's
Even the
moving
Godzilla
the
movies are better.
Oh,
It's like
sure,
Gamera was a step
but the
below.
reason I say that is because when you have a movie like Roger Rabbit that was so innovative at the time because of its special effects,
Right.
you notice it more when the effects don't hold up. Where if you have something with like an average effects or something that they're not as critical to the story and everything, then the movie ages a little bit better.
So you think that the special effects actually just pull you out of the movie?
Yes, I think because they feel so dated.
Okay, because I love the plot so much. I enjoy Roger Rabbit. My favorite line, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. My favorite line of Roger Rabbit is when Bob Hoskins is sawing the handcuffs off of Roger Rabbit, and Roger Rabbit pulls his handcuffs out and holds the box steady, and Bob Hoskins says, "Could you do that at any time?" And Roger Rabbit says, "Only when it was funny."
Yeah, that was
Which
a
is
good
the best line
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
You're just like, yeah, that's what. I can only do some things when it's funny.
I would think that it would. I'd have to see it. It's been a few years since I've seen
Yeah,
it.
you have to see it.
I'd have to
I
see
own
it
that
again
one.
because I would think that because of the specific style of animation effects, that it would hold up better.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
No,
I don't know
it doesn't.
I'm
what
gonna
you're
have to-
talking
I
about.
have
Are
to
you
see
talking
it.
about like when somebody hands them a
I'm
handkerchief?
talking about when the live action characters interact with the animated characters.
I don't think it's up.
But
It's
see,
that
it's a,
bad.
specific, it's a very specific hand-drawn animation, and it's not. I mean, you don't even
But-
see it anymore.
But that's what I'm saying. But the problem
I know,
is
but-
it looked so seamless at the time. Like I never would have thought that at the time when I'm watching.
You know what? I didn't think it was that seamless either
I didn't think
at
so
the time.
either. Like I could
Oh, see, I
specifically
did. When I
remember,
first-
and then you could see where like Hoskins like strangling him. It's like he's clearly not strangling an animated
See,
character.
yeah.
But that's
You know what I mean?
interesting. Maybe I bought it too much when it first came out.
Yeah.
And now as you've
Because they're
matured,
so
Yeah.
completely. I mean, it's so that the animation is so completely fantasy related.
'Cause I really
it's not,
felt like-
not realistic in the slightest.
Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really saw it when I saw it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is really cool the way it melded together. Now it doesn't.
Yeah,
hold up.
I don't-
All right, well, you know what? Watch it again, Neil. You'll be
I
the
will.
tiebreaker.
I do have to see it again.
you will be the tiebreaker.
And I've been meaning to buy it on even Blu-ray, just even though.
Well, you could just come to Whole Foods and Charles Fleischer.
I would like Charles Fleischer to reenact the entire film. For me. I really like.
Somebody told me that he dressed in the rabbit costume the entire shoot.
yes,
And he would only deliver his lines in the rabbit costume.
that is true. You can see that on the behind the scenes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's
Sean,
actually
the Sean
in,
Young school of.
He's in the rabbit costume.
Roger
Now,
Rabbit, yeah.
I don't know that the second half of that is true or not, where he would only deliver the lines if he was in the rabbit costume, but he definitely wore one on the set.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It's. Ooh. You know what I just saw? No. This is not. We have made very little plan, except for that we all enjoy comedy and film. But I
comic
just
books.
saw and comic books. I just saw Ventriloquist.
Oh,
I saw Nina Conti, which is Tom Conti's daughter.
wow.
Now, Tom Conti being
Oh, great.
a British actor,
Yeah,
a character
actor.
actor who I can't remember any of his work.
60s, 70s.
Yeah, he was. But do you remember, Chris? Do you ever remember any Tom Conti work? Anyway, but it'll be in the notes, or it won't. But you could look it up, people. Conti.
He didn't.
I was thinking of the movie Dummy.
Did he play on Friends? Wasn't he
One of the dads or something?
father of Emily when Ross was marrying the British girl Emily?
Oh, you know what?
He played her dad, I think.
Okay.
And what's her name from AdFab played the mother. So
Okay.
they were husband and
that's
wife.
hilarious.
Yeah, and of course he was droll and drunk all the time, like this, and trying to get Ross's parents to pay for everything.
It was an Arthur.
I think that was Tom Conti.
Oh.
Yeah, it was.
right,
and
then.
his daughter, Nina Conti, is a ventriloquist.
That's interesting.
And I saw her do an hour of ventriloquism. Let me tell you something. Ventriloquism, I want her to be on the Dork Forest because you have to be a giant dork to become a ventriloquist.
You sure do.
It's interesting that
It's
she
hours in
picked
front of
that,
a-
because it's how many people, what percentage of people pick
That's something
being
you
a
really have to
ventriloquist
practice
today,
And
like now.
ventriloquists, kind of crazy. Their mind just kind of splits.
They're a
Well, you
little
wonder about that
different.
because you're like, I mean, she seems sane enough.
Now, you and I have worked with enough ventriloquists to know.
You know, I haven't actually ever worked with a
Wow, you
ventriloquist.
haven't?
I've worked with magicians. I've
no.
worked with prop comics. I've
Oh,
worked
no.
with guitar comics. I have never worked with a
I
ventriloquist.
have worked with many ventriloquists.
More than one.
More than one.
More
yes.
than three?
Probably, yeah. 3. I worked with Willie Tyler and Lester once.
Okay.
Wow.
But I
I worked
remember,
with a clown once.
no, never been a clown. But I remember talking to one of them. It was Vince Dantona, and his I don't even know if he's still alive anymore. But he had his wooden buddy George.
Okay.
It was his his
She had some fancy
Yes.
talky dudes. I mean, her puppets were very fancy.
Well, it was but anyway, I worked with like a bunch of them. Like it was a Philly guy, but I worked with a bunch of them on the road. You see a lot of them on the road in that kind of Catskills, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, where I worked in
Right.
Ohio. That's
Right,
where
right.
I found a lot of them. I remember talking to one of them, and I was just joking around with him, and I said, "Hey, does your dummy cry out to you at night?" and I made it.
You should
and I
be.
jo-
I've heard
and-
so many stories like
and,
that. What did he?
And he responded. He laughed. He thought that was funny. And he goes, no. And then he responded, unironically, he sleeps right next to me. Why would he cry out?
Oh my God! See, the thing is that's why I want to have her on because I'm like celebrate the ventriloquism because to become a ventriloquist, it's worse than magic because magic. I mean, you spend hours a day doing up close magic in front of a mirror, right? So you're already antisocial. But a ventriloquist, you're antisocial, but you're social because you're talking. You're throwing your voice. You're trying to interact, and so it was all crowd work. She did 40 minutes of crowd work, and she had, I think, 3 different puppets, and then she put those face puppets on people. You know
What are
those things?
those? No.
They're you connect them to people's ears, and then you can work. You pull a string, and it makes the mouth go. And
But
so
you put it on people?
You
Like
put
a
it on
mask?
somebody like a mask, but it's only the lower half of the face, so it looks absurd. And
weird.
then 2 people, a person comes up from the audience, puts this thing on, and then and they don't say anything, and then you just make them talk.
Well, people also don't understand
That's very bizarre.
ventriloquism,
Yeah.
too. Like, I remember another ventriloquist was telling me, I can't believe I have all these ventriloquist stories.
That's awesome.
He said that he was doing a TV spot.
Yeah.
And he said the audio guys were so stupid. They were trying to mic the dummy.
Oh my God!
He said they mic'd him, and they're like, all right, well, no, we need to mic the dummy. He goes, no, you don't. What do you mean? Isn't he going to talk? It's like...
Think that through, buddy. Think it through.
So he actually got a conversation with the audio guy about why he didn't have to mic the dummy.
I'll tell you, Nina Conti, her act is very meta. Like she's addressing like the dummies are doing that thing where they make fun of her and it's talking about how they're dummies. Like she had one of those like Madonna. I'm sure they're not called that, but it's like a lavalier kind of. But it's like a face mic, right? Mm-hmm. And it was like her monkey is her main dummy. I don't like the monkey the best, quite honestly. Gonna go out on a limb. I would say the last puppet she had, which was a character she said she got as a gift, and was a New York, like a brash New York lady, and she's British, and so she does this brash New York lady voice, and then she switched voices, like the brash New York lady, if it were a person, said, why don't you give me your voice, and then you do my voice, you do the brash New York lady, and so she did her own voice. She threw her own voice.
Wow.
Which was kind of spooky looking. I mean, it was kind of neat. I don't know.
Interesting.
Wayland Flowers and Madam never did that.
Oh, I do like Flowers and Madam. I don't mind ventriloquism. I don't go out of my way for it, but I like the idea of the commitment of that and mime.
So if
that
ventriloquism
is
was
commitment.
broken down on the road, would you stop?
If a ventriloquist was broken down on the road, would I stop and help him? Depends if it was after dark.
Yeah.
Because of Chucky. Because Chucky had to be mic'd.
And magic.
Yes.
And yes, we don't want any
Anthony
Sir Anthony
magic.
Hopkins and his creepy doll.
Oh, when was that made? I don't remember that one.
1978, 78 or 80. By the way, it was January of 89 was Sandman. I think
Of 89. Okay.
of 89. Yeah. I think it was 1978. magic, and it was Sir Anthony Hopkins and Anne Margaret.
Wow.
Wow.
And the freaky dummy that when you look at it too long, you realize it's the character from Mad Magazine.
Oh, Hefferty Newman. Yeah.
Wow. That is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot, and that's a lot of weird information to have about that.
No,
film.
I like about that. Now, here's my thing about movies. I never know who anyone is. I never know. Like, I know I write for Comedy Film Nerds, rarely, but always with panache and style.
Indeed.
But I never know who the actors are, and I never knew.
That's what IMDb is for.
Well, I look them up, but some people
Neal's good at that. He recognizes actors from everything.
recognizes people in different acting roles. I let go of the reality of it all, and I say to myself, "Oh, look, that's not Eddie Murphy. That's a guy named Dave." That's the worst movie ever.
Oh, that's a horrible
Meet
advanced
Dave.
example.
Yes, it's the worst example. But I mean, so did you? I mean, because when I was a kid, when I was little, we never watched movies. But when I was in junior high, I would take a bus and watch like 3 movies in a day.
Oh no, I would watch movies all the time as
Yeah,
a kid. But here's the thing: I wouldn't know names either as a kid. But you would go, "Oh, that's the guy from that," or "That's the girl from that." Like you would start to get face recognition,
Right.
Without knowing their names. And
Right.
there was no internet back then. You could
Right.
look it
Right.
up.
Right. They just had that Leonard Moulton book that you had to buy.
And God knows you're not going to try to match up the face with the credits at the end because there were no DVDs. You couldn't pause.
Right. You had to
Right.
quickly
So,
take
you
notes.
couldn't watch
read
it
while
that.
the-
So all of a sudden it's
scrolling
just,
by.
oh, that's the
You
guy
didn't
from
get to
blah,
that.
blah, blah. That's
Yeah.
it. That's as far as you went.
Right. Unless you went into Us magazines people had to be really famous for me to know who they were. And now too many people are famous, and so I don't know who any of them are. Like, who's the woman who's in Easy A, but she's also in Crazy Stupid Love or whatever?
Emma Stone?
Emma Stone. I like her. Don't know her name. I'm like...
You do now. Write it down.
There we go, Emma Stone. We'll put it in the thing.
She was also going to be starring in The Help coming out.
Oh, is that coming out? And she's going to be in that?
Yes.
All right. Good. Did you guys... So did you see all of the comic book movies, Neal?
I have seen all the comic book movies, I think.
Did you see Green Lantern?
Sadly, yes.
Did you write a review?
I did.
All right, on
And
Comedy Film Nerds.
It was stinky.
And it was, was it?
It was really bad. And I wasn't even, like the Green Lantern wasn't even a character that I knew, just the very basics.
See,
Right.
I loved Green Lantern. It was one of my favorites.
Now, why?
I didn't know that much about it. So I was kind of coming from one aspect. I was, okay, well, I'm not being a big fan, maybe I'll have a better perspective on it. I'll just
Right, because your
a regular
expectations
viewer and
will
I
be
won't
much
know.
lower.
And still, it was just completely ridiculous.
I just
you
love
see
the
it?
idea. No, that's the one I haven't seen this summer.
And yet you're a fan of...
And I'm a huge fan. Well, the reason I haven't seen it is because I'm a huge fan.
Oh, right. You're like,
Everyone's saying how
don't
horrible
ruin
it is.
this. Don't ruin it.
And as I was never on board with Ryan Reynolds as Green Lantern, and I'm looking at it because I always liked, as a kid, I would watch like all the Super Friends shows and all that stuff, and it was always my favorite. It was like this cool, extra powerful character that could create anything with a ring.
Right.
It's like that's even cooler than Superman. You could literally make anything.
Could
unless
you
it's
make
yellow.
a Superman?
Yeah, yes, you could make a green Superman to fight the actual Superman, although unless he turned yellow.
Okay.
And then he would always fight the Sinestro with the yellow ring, which always would crack me up. But I always thought that was really a cool character. So I was thinking, oh, wow, so much you could do with this movie. Unless you hire people that don't understand comic books or comic book characters to make it. And then that's pretty much what happened. Ryan Reynolds, I didn't know anything about the character before I signed on. Really? Then why are you in this job?
Yeah.
Right.
Do you hire the doctor? Like, I don't know anything about performance surgery, but once I got in there, I just picked it up.
Well, I mean, but I think the Green Lantern is a particularly complex character, and I don't think, like Spider-Man, I think anybody gets. There's not a lot to get with Spider-Man.
Well, Green Lantern also got much, much more complicated with Jeff Johns' run with Darkest Night or Blackest Night and all that stuff. I mean, it
Right,
was
when there
much
were like
more-
8 different colored rings and such.
there was the mythology. It's funny. In most recent years, the mythology got more complex and interesting. Right at the same time when a shitty, dull movie came out.
Right, when they decided to go back to the original. Well, I was given the original book to read, the origin story, the Golden Age origin story, and then the Silver Age origin story. And I read them. I liked them. But the Green Lantern has never captured my imagination, quite honestly, because I don't know what I would do with a green ring. I'd be like, what are you going to make a pony? I don't know. I don't know what I'd make.
I would make a pony.
Would you?
Yeah.
And then get on it, ride off into the sunset?
He'd totally make a dragon.
Yeah, I would make a dragon.
You would make a
I would
dragon.
make a dragon eat a pony. I would make the pony first. Then make the dragon eat the pony.
Can you make more than one thing with the ring at a time?
So it depends on your willpower.
Oh, you gotta have the willpower.
Yeah, you gotta have the willpower. It's all up here in your head.
Right, it's in your head. It's I saw Thor. I liked Thor.
Thor was good.
I like
so
Thor.
too.
It's and I read Thor.
Best comic book movie this summer, though, X-Men First Class, I think.
I liked Thor better, but I liked
Really?
X-Men First Class. I liked X-Men First Class. Here's what I like about the whole X-Men series is that mutants are the problem. Mutants. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember that terrible Wolverine movie with huge Ackman.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
He screamed at the sky no less than 3 times.
Yeah.
No!
Terrible.
But
Just like
the
Battlefield
final
Earth.
really? Oh my!
Opening scene.
Why
Battlefield
wouldn't
Earth.
it?
No.
It's but at the end of Wolverine, they fight at 3 Mile Island
Yes, with
And-
Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah, with a round rounds.
with Ryan Reynolds. Which, by the way, a moratorium on Ryan Reynolds would not be out of line. Him and Jason
Yeah,
Bateman
it's time
can take. Why don't they just take a honeymoon and go jump over a broomstick and Kunti Kinte this? I can't even deal.
Talk about that horrible
That
movie.
thing coming out.
Ugh.
That what is it? Change up. It's a Freaky Friday thing, right?
Yes,
with
it's
boys.
so funny. We just said the exact same thing on
Right.
Freaky Friday because it's like every so often people feel like they have to put one of those movies out.
Right.
Trying to bring that back.
I think
from
the last
90s.
one was with Tony Curtis's daughter. Hi, I'm 107 years old. Jamie Lee Curtis. You know Tony Curtis's daughter.
Oh, you mean
Yes,
that? Oh, yeah. That
John
movie,
Barrymore's granddaughter. What's her
yeah.
name? It's
Yeah, she's just getting real hot now with Trading Places, right?
Yeah.
it's yeah, but that was the last Freaky Friday, and I didn't mind that one actually. That one actually worked pretty well. The Jamie Lee Curtis Freaky Friday one. Remember that?
Didn't see. I remember it, but I didn't see it.
With the drug addict.
Lindsay
Yeah,
Lohan?
Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, the drug addict. Let's just refer to them by their scandal.
Yeah.
The hermaphrodite daughter of Tony Curtis, and was allowing her hair to go gray, and it's a big scandal. Did you
Yeah.
hear about that?
Oh,
That she's unwilling to dye her hair. She's decided to allow the aging process.
Yes.
And you're like,
Ooh, yeah. No.
She's allowing herself to age normally like regular folk do.
except for not entirely like regular folks. She's still going and getting a facial like every 2 minutes, and
yeah.
it's sort of like well, I suppose she's getting work done, but Sandra Bullock. Sandra Bullock, I don't know that she's gotten. We're not close, Sandy and I. So, but I see her and I think to myself, I think she's had some work.
You know, I love Sandra Bullock because
Me too.
she was the kind of actress that never forgets kind of what she's done, where she's came from. She has a real good kind of persona and like
She's grounded.
She's real grounded. Yeah, she has it because whenever she gets too high and mighty, all someone has to do is say, "Hey, you were in Demolition Man," and then that's it.
And Speed
Right.
2.
And Speed 2. But I think she went
Oh,
and
boy.
actually accepted her award at the Razzies.
Yeah, that was
pretty
one of the
cool.
best things.
Yeah.
Oh,
ever.
that is pretty awesome.
No, she's cool. I like her.
When Speed 2 came out, I had this joke to say about it. Pause. Turn around. Come back. Do you guys like impressions? No, I'm kidding. Anyway, no, Speed 2 is like watching someone run at you with a knife for an hour and a half. They were just like, oh my God, he's got a knife. And then 20 minutes go by, he's like, oh my God, he's still got a knife and he's running at me. Oh my God, he's got... I'm going to cut myself with this knife if he ever gets to me.
Speed 2, audience 0.
I like that.
Nice.
But I liked Gattaca. Let's talk weird movies.
Horrible movie.
I enjoyed it. My favorite part of it...
I'm with you. I liked it too.
I
Can't
liked
help
it.
Terrible movie.
It was. I liked it, and the only part I thought was funny was when they were constantly when him and his brother would argue. He'd be like, "Yeah, why don't you go get your swim trunks? Let's do this.
Yeah, that was how they would settle everything. Yeah.
To the ocean. Get your swim trunks. Let's do this."
Yeah, we're going to do half a race. And that's it. And then we're never going to finish it.
Was that one of Philip K. Dick's? I feel like that was one of Philip K. Dick's books. Gattaca.
That's a good question.
All right, somebody look it up. Get your intern.
All right, Tiberius, my intern.
But that could be. That could be. I mean,
you keep your intern in a cage.
I'll tell you. If Philip K. Dick had a time machine, he'd be living in a giant mansion in Malibu right now.
Well, he
That's
was
for
the one who
sure.
told his wife that she needed to keep up the royalties on it. to keep up the rights on it.
Oh, the copyrights?
Yeah.
Very smart. He knew.
He knew before in his cocaine madness.
Yeah, he
before
said,
dying.
these dumb motherfuckers aren't getting me now.
Right,
but in
30 years from now, they're totally going to be.
Yeah. I'm going to be bigger than L. Ron Hubbard.
And that's when he would have been sad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump me with a religion.
Oh my God.
Battlefield Earth, you said it.
So have you started your own religion? No. So what? So
This was the summer of superheroes, that's for sure.
I haven't seen Captain America yet.
Here's the thing I'm very excited about. We were talking
up?
about on the Comedy Film Nerds podcast is when you have. There's the spider.
Oh, crying out loud. It is tiny. Yeah, kill him. He's dead. I'm so sorry. Somebody.
Oh, he's.
There's a divot in that.
Use a napkin.
Use a Harry Otter. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to edit this out.
Yeah.
Because no one needs to be part and parcel to the killing of a spider.
Anyway. Two spiders
the size
enter, one
of an
spider
amoeba.
leaves. The thing that's amazing is when you have a lot of superhero movies, especially in one summer, chances are most of them are going to be horrible, and you get one good one.
Okay.
It was the opposite this summer, which was so encouraging. They were all good, and there was only one bad
that
one.
was sort of mediocre or not
Which is
something.
the complete opposite is what you would expect, but it was really good. But I thought Captain America was good, Thor was good, and I thought X-Men First Class was excellent. But even if you go even bigger or more broader with comic book movies, which is Cowboys and Aliens, which was good too, but it was still a comic book movie, just not superheroes. And then was there
Kick-Ass came out last summer.
Yeah, that was last summer. Was there any other comic book big comic book movies?
Big?
Or even small?
Well, there was that one with Brandon Routh, Dylan Dog.
I don't even remember that movie.
It came out and was gone in a week.
A little
it's on
indie
DVD
moment?
already.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was put on DVD in like 3 months. It was a little indie thing that no one saw.
What comic book movies would you like to see made? I mean, what's...
Well, I'm still desperately waiting for Neil Gaiman stuff to...
Like Sandman,
yeah.
I mean, we got to see
quality,
Stardust, yeah.
Quality Sandman, which actually was, really good. I like Stardust. But I'd love, Sandman, but it has to be handled right.
Yeah.
They ruined the whole Constantine Hellblazer thing, so...
Right.
Because they went with the interpretation of...
Right, it was
of
not...
the book and
it was not...
the literal... Yeah. But definitely love to see. And I would love to see, I was a big fan of Vertigo. I loved the Swamp Thing, and I loved Alan Moore's.
Oh.
And even Rick Veitch's stretch on that book.
Okay.
It was very great. But that would be a really great to see it done right, not like they did it. Horrible with Louis
not
Jordan.
like that camp when he looks at the camera and like gives like a thumbs up. You mean an actual Swamp
horrifying.
Thing movie?
But yeah,
Swamp Thing is the DC
really
one, right?
But it's really gothic horror.
It
nothing
was
like
originally gothic,
like Cthulhu-y kind of stuff, like H.P. Lovecraft, or no?
A little bit. It had like that kind of southern kind of thing to it.
Yeah.
Like southern gothic horror, like American Gothic kind of feel.
Okay.
I don't know, as New England-y as Cthulhu?
New England.
It could be like Lock and Key, like the Joe Hill.
It's all Bayou related. It was all Louisiana. And,
but so he wasn't a man. He was a... he thought he was like Alan Moore's reimagining of it,
his reimagining of it.
Okay. Chris Mancini is going to step away from the podcast because he's got some sort of business thing happening. Let's talk about the entertainment industry. And
but it was really metaphysical. I mean,
was it like spooky, like ghosts and stuff?
It was originally, and then Alan Moore really like stretched it out into much more heady stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How
whereas Swamp Thing became an elemental, an earth elemental. So he was the elemental for all, the plant life.
Okay.
And he could slip his consciousness out of his body into anywhere anywhere that vegetation, anywhere there was that kind of vegetation. So he could like travel the planet and even into space.
Into space?
Anywhere there's even a microbial plant life, he could possess it.
Did it have like an environmental theme to it at all? Or?
Sometimes, yeah, it did.
Because Alan Moore, I mean, he's such a curmudgeon, that dude.
He really is.
He really, I mean, I really like his stuff, but it's always...
It's like a big antisocial wizard.
Right.
Alan Moore.
He's like a get off my lawn kind of guy.
Yeah,
He's just like, did you, I guess he wrote something about the new comic books and how the kids should just get it together. And you're like, the kids you're talking about are 47 years old.
I know, we read your stuff 20 years ago, Alan.
Yeah,
we've been reading your stuff for all this
it turns
time.
out Stan Lee has somehow come to peace with his own items.
Yeah.
You might want to do it as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And V for Vendetta was one of my...
It's wonderful.
I never read the book, though.Id you ever read the books?
Yeah. I think I still have the collected.
It was like written Margaret Thatcher time, right? It was like an early 80s, mid 80s.
Yeah, it was a mid 80s thing along with the same era as like Watchmen.
Right. And then just the fury of that sort of what was considered uber right wing at the time and his reaction to it. But I thought that when because they did do an interpretive dance when they did the movie, and I thought they nailed it.
I thought so too.
Yeah.
I thought that was one that I think a lot of people were worried about. And Alan Moore, of course, who doesn't believe in any film adaptation of his work. So.
Right. I don't understand. I mean, it's not like he draws, does he? Does he do the art as well?
No, that was Dave Gibbons did that work. And Gibbons was on board because that was the year I went to Comic-Con.
Okay.
And Dave Gibbons was on.
That was the last year you went?
That was the only year, I think.
Oh, you've only been once?
Yeah.
I've only been... I went 1 year for reals. Just to see it and see the spectacle.
Yeah.
And I'm not very good with crowds. So I'm okay if I'm in front of them. And,
they're behind me?
Right.
See them?
And I can run and I can see them all at once and I can hide at some point. But yeah, I can't... Yeah. So you went that year, which would have been about 4 years ago, right?
Yeah, that was the year right before V for Vendetta came out, right before Superman Returns came out. So Bryan Singer was there and had like a 5-minute
Dealy Bob where he tried to sell the movie.
Yeah. And duped us pretty much.
Duped us into thinking that he was going to... I have a hard time with Superman sometimes just because of how powerful he is.
Yeah, it's such an icon.
Yeah. And all I want to do is watch the origin story. Like I don't know how to do an ongoing Superman story. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
Batman has a better chance with me, for ongoing kind of stuff. Though right now I'm reading a lot of sort of other bats, Batgirl, Batwoman, I'm just reading that Gary Rucka Batwoman. I
haven't read a Batman comic stuff in a long time.
What are you reading now? Like in real life? What are you sitting around and
well, I'm just it's just
do you mostly read fiction or nonfiction or internet or
a variety of stuff. I'm reading I think I'm reading like 6 books right now.
Oh, nice.
Confederacy of Dunces, which I've never read, so I finally
Me neither. I've tried it. You know what? I don't care that winter is coming in that either.
Yeah.
It's I understand it's a Pulitzer Prize. I'm not going to read Cormac McCarthy either. They're both depressing.
The Road. Yeah, The Road was really good, and,
did you like
the movie adaptation. It's not musical comedy. It's no Singing in the Rain. It's no Oklahoma.
Music Man.
Music Man. None of that. But it's powerful and it's really good, and the film
well done.
was really well done in that regard. But I'm in the same way. I'm about I think like a third of the way through this Confederacy of Dunces, and I feel like I'm missing something.
Right. Well, and the thing is, because he's such a tragic figure, and you're like, no, you're supposed to laugh at him, and I was like, what if I don't want to laugh at him?
That's kind of mean, isn't it?
It seems enormously mean. I was like, this dude's broken. Why don't I go stand in front of the 7-Eleven and laugh at that guy?
Sure, because God knows there's plenty of them in town,
right?
In L.A.
Welcome to Los Angeles.
Terrible thing.
I could step over him every other excerpt.
Yeah.
So what else are you reading?
I'm reading White Line Fever, the autobiography of Lemmy, Ian Kilmister from Motorhead, which is fantastic so far because the man really should be dead.
What is it? Is it a band?
Motorhead's the band.
Oh, Motorhead, the band.
And Lemmy is the founder. He's 60-something, and he should be dead.
Every episode, I like to not know something that's enormously...
Great name from him always going, Lemmy a fiver.
Lemmy a fiver. Ian Kilmister is his name, but he's...
And Filthy Animal is the name of the drummer, right?
He used to be.
Oh.
Yeah, was in the band.
I'm back, by the way. I didn't stop stepping away.
Chris Mancini had to talk to the industry.
Yeah, I did.
Filthy Animal Tailor was in the band, then left, and then came back for a record, and then left again. Mm-hmm. And he hasn't been in the band in 10 years. It's amazing how long this band has been around.
Where's Motorhead from? Peoria,
England.
Illinois?
England. Yeah. And
Cheap Trick is from Peoria, Illinois.
Oh, really? That I did not know.
There's, that was the only musical thing I knew. Motorhead, Cheap Trick. For some reason, are they of the same era?
Well, Motorhead's been around since '74, so pretty close. Within a year or two,
right? Because because they were the only band that I could think of at the same. I mean, I suppose Deep Purple.
Sure. Also the same era, '70s. But Motorhead basically is just really loud and really fast.
Okay, so it's like speed metal kind of.
Kind of. They're sort of created. They're sort of considered like the godfathers of metal, or
are they?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was acid rock? What was that? That was something I remember somebody saying in 1977.
Yeah, acid rock.
I only listen to acid rock, man. Do you?
I think it's rock that you actually listen to while on acid.
It sounds like
I like to do it on mushrooms, man, because it's natural,
rock.
Man. Because it's natural. You got to go outside. And
I can grow it.
Because I can grow it myself, man.
Grow my own drugs.
Oh, yeah. You know, when we moved into this house, there was a pot plant growing in the backyard. And the dude that cuts our lawn and has cut our lawn for some time, why don't I just admit that he's our gardener? Anyway, so we have a gardener.
Just some guy that does that.
It's not a 17-year-old boy who does it for $5 a week.
This guy's cheaper.
This guy's sadly cheaper. It's about $12 a week. And we were the only ones who gave him a raise because we're like, this seems absurd, Rodolfo. You're 50. Anyway, so and Rodolfo cuts everybody's lawn on the entire block. Like, so if he's getting $50 a month from at least 7 different houses, and that's what he does on Tuesday, and so I think he's making an okay living. He does like to hug me and kiss me on the cheek. It seems like a lot from the guy.
Oh, does he knock on the
Sounds
door?
Almost like a tip that you're not intending to give.
I'm not. You are correct, Neal Weakley, because I don't want to give it.
Well, stop giving him extra money. You're sending him mixed signals, Jackie.
Right, and you should see what I wear.
Yeah.
And
I was like, maybe give him an extra $5 not to hug and kiss you.
Well, I know.
You know,
Plus, he's been cutting lawns for a couple of hours, and I'm like, dude, I don't need to hug your sweaty,
just
crazy.
The beginning of it, really, isn't it?
Right, it's such a lot of work. And but it was a big pot plant in our backyard, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you should keep this." And I was like, I think not. I don't know what to. So Andy took it to work, or he asked at work if anybody wanted it. It turns out nobody wants it. Nobody wants to grow their own weed anymore. The DEA will take away their apartment.
They want to buy it. They all just want to buy it themselves. Nobody wants to.
Man, nobody's got any work ethic anymore. You know, I'm going to grow my own weed. I'm going to get those buds myself.
Buy it from somebody else. No one takes pride in their work.
I don't know how we die. Oh, because of motor breath or motorhead. Motor breath? Is motor breath a thing?
Nope.
Well, probably some unsigned band
somewhere.
Called Motor Breath.
I think it's also the name of a song
that's the tribute. That's the Motorhead tribute band. Is Motor Breath?
Ooh, that'd be awesome. Is there a song called Motor Breath?
No, that's not.
Okay, I thought you said there was.
Because
I think there was
from tomorrow.
I had a band on Beatallica. It's a Beatles Metallica mashup.
Wow,
nice.
And the first one of the first 10 episodes of the pre-recorded, people go back in time, and it's live music. They play essentially Beatles songs and sing, and the lead singer sounds exactly like the lead singer from Metallica.
Wow.
So he's just like all guttural and hey dude, and it's like that. So. It's ridiculous.
That would be actually kind of cool, actually.
Yeah,
I would listen to that.
You should listen to it.
Yeah.
And they're a pub band from Milwaukee, so
nice.
they're quite nice. Yeah, cool. And they're huge in Europe.
Wow.
Why wouldn't they be? Right?
Of course.
It's awesome. So, what else are you reading? Let's go there.
Let's see. So I'm reading that, and what else did I
want you to read the Joan London autobiography. That's the next words out of your mouth.
Wow.
Not to be like something crazy.
Joan London. Wow, I haven't even heard the name Joan London in 10 years.
2 episodes ago, I had a guy on who only reads celebrity biographies.
Wow. Did he get them signed? He waits in line.
Oh. That would have been an excellent question.
Yeah.
I will be emailing Brian Safi.
They always have book signings, celebrities.
They do.
Constantly,
they do indeed.
In LA.
I just finished listening to Tina Fey's Bossypants.
Did she read it?
She reads it. And it's fantastic. And, she says in the beginning of the book, she's like, there's not going to be any huge reveals. Like, it's not going to be like she doesn't have cancer or she wasn't molested or anything. But there were a series of tiny reveals which built a vision of exactly the kind of person that she is, which is a really smart, very funny person who is kind of a dick sometimes. In other words, she's a comic. I was like, and she's... just sort of, and there'd be like these passing things because, people always say, hey, what's it like being the boss at 30 Rock? And she's like, I know people are always asking Donald Trump that. People are always asking, what's it like being the boss? It turns out it's just being the boss. It'll be fun. And she just bosses people around because she's good at it. And yeah. So I just read that one. What about you, Chris? What are you reading? Anything?
Yes, I am, oddly enough, reading the same author that I was last time. I went through all of the Percy Jackson books. I read all 5.
With the Lightning Thief?
Yeah, the Lightning Thief, because I watched the movie, which was horrible, and I thought, but everyone kept saying how good the books were. I'm like, okay, let me give them a chance.
How were they?
And you know what? They were like Harry Potter, very light. Like very light Harry,
like super light Harry
Potter. Light Harry Potter until you get to, but you could see the formula was definitely being followed. The Harry Potter formula, where they start off super light, and then as the 4th or 5th books kind of hit, they get a little darker, more violent, and all that stuff. And
the stakes are raised.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's still Harry Potter light. And and I'm thinking, I'm reading these books, and then I'm thinking, how much even more so did Chris Columbus fuck up that movie?
Which one?
When he did the Lightning Thief. And I'm looking, I don't know what his pitch was, but like, we're going to take everything cool that's in these books and either throw it away or ruin it. Like, it's unbelievable, like how different the movie and the books are. Where Chris Columbus, I mean, it takes a lot of work to miss the point of a book about kids and mythology. It really does. You really have to not understand material to really. Yeah,
don't even get me started about Peter Jackson and the fact
Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief.
No, Peter Jackson and the Lord of the Rings, and him not realizing that the heroes of the books are the hobbits, and it's not fucking Viggo Mortensen.
I don't know. I think he got that.
I don't think he did. He never did. He never did, in my opinion. The only way I can watch those movies, and I whenever I watch those movies, I have to forget that I've ever read the books. I can't.
Really? Yeah, I can enjoy both. I can enjoy both.
I love the books, and I can like the movies because I think he got the world really, really well. But like, he didn't include different lines, like when he's got first of all, he's got Sam abandoning Frodo on the right before Mount Doom. Well, that never happened. Well, there's no Sam leaving Frodo. That's not possible.
I think too, you've really got to give the filmmakers a little bit of leeway with book versus movie. I really think there definitely has to be a little bit more interpretation.
Well, I mean, I say you pick a lane. Or what are you going to do? Are you going to get the world right, or are you going to get the characters right? And it would have been nice if he would have gotten, because Frodo, Viggo Mortensen, the Aragorn, never questions that he is king. He never questions his ancestry. He doesn't question whether he has the right to do anything, or that's never an issue.
All that stuff to me is forgivable in the interest of a.
Oh my God! It's the only things that aren't forgivable.
Of a compelling movie.
Here's what I don't have a problem with: the fact that there are elves at Helm's Deep. Some people are like, "There's no elves at Helm's Deep." I was like, I could give a shit if the elves show up at Helm's Deep. What the hell? Yeah. I liked the elves at Helm's Deep. That was nice. I did wonder where they were in the book when Legolas and Gimli discuss about how, because Legolas says in the book, he's like, why don't I man, if I could just have 100 elven archers, that'd be awesome. And Gimli says, do you want to send for them? And Legolas says, yeah, they're already fighting. They got problems on their own fronts.
Busy.
Yeah, they're busy right now. They're fighting the billion orcs that are over to the left.
Yeah. And, who keeps making all these orcs?
Yes. But yeah, I'm reading actually a children's series that's, I've only read the first one, and they're British, and it's new to the United States series. It's called the CHERUB series. And CHERUB is it's an MI5, MI6, MI11, whatever the British intelligence.
the MI5. Right?
Yeah,
MI6,
but I think it might be.
MI5, MI6.
It might be a
There's
fake
multiple
one.
ones,
It might be a fake
like
one.
an MI13 or something.
Right.
That one that's off the grid.
But it's essentially like an Ender's Game meets.
Is it like a British Spy Kids?
Yep, it's British Spy Kids. It's kids between the ages of 10 and 17 are sent on spy missions, and it's super dark. The first one is called The Recruit, and it is full on. In the first chapter, the recruit, his mom dies because she's clinically obese and she's a shoplifter, and she ends up drinking herself to death in like the first chapter.
All right.
And you're like, wait, what just happened?
It's just like Oklahoma.
Well, dark kids books, they're much more compelling for us adults anyway.
Yeah,
but,
true enough.
The series that I also read was Hunger Games.
I read that.
Those three.
Yeah, have you read that?
Fantastic.
Are they good?
Really,
Okay, I was
really
gonna ask
dark.
about that.
Very dark, and they still have those dopey Twilight moments that it could really do without, where it's that love triangle.
Well-
But here's the thing. It's completely forgivable because the world is so brutal and so miserable and so violent.
Any light at all that they can shed on it, I'm like,
Yeah.
I will take that.
Yeah,
I will take
it's
that
like,
light.
It's like such a glimmer. And
Yeah.
here's the great thing. You actually have a female protagonist who is active. The Twilight series, you have a professional victim who is being either saved or being chased by monsters.
Right. Yeah. Right.
This one, she actually takes control of her life and has to kill people to survive.
Jennifer Lawrence in the film.
Yeah, it's good. So I don't have high hopes for the film, but the books
I don't know much
themselves
about it.
are great.
Yeah, the books are really well done. It's funny because I read the Dragon Tattoo books, and then
Yeah, I
the
read those.
next series that I read was the Hunger Games. and
Wow,
I'm like,
you didn't hang yourself after that?
I didn't decide to eat a bullet in the next heartbeat.
I had to read Eat, Pray, Love just to cleanse my palate.
Oh boy.
Oh my god! I'm also reading a bunch of Ross Thomas books, which are he's a political thriller guy who started writing. He was in World War II in the Philippines, and so he started writing I think in 1955 or something, and died in 1995. And I've now read like 5 of the 14 books that essentially they're fancy Spencer for hire. They're well written Ludlum or Kuntz, or except for that there's no spooky stuff. The only Kuntz book I ever read was a spooky one.
Oh, yeah.
You ever read any
writes a
Dean
lot of
Koontz?
spooky books.
Yeah.
No, but he writes one every
Supernatural.
6 weeks, right?
Right.
And then he has a commercial about
Yeah,
it on
yeah.
TV,
About how
hawking it.
prolific he is.
My next book is
Is almost done.
Yes.
And it's called Shitty First Draft. Please. So you guys, it's been an hour.
Wow, already?
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about the Dork Forest is that tweet, it just goes right by.
Nice.
And
Time Does Fly.
I like to go on a little random, little movies, little comic books, little books. We did a little smattering.
It was nice, and it's nice because I like. There's 2 different kind of things that we're doing now with the Dork Forest. It seems to be where someone loses their mind at me about the one thing that they love, and it's awesome. And then it's kind of this is lighter where we're just talking about books and movies and just general dorkdoms, which I really like as well. Yeah. So I like it all, quite honestly. I'm a bit of a chameleon. So let's talk about comedy film nerds. What's the next movies that you're going to see, Neal?
I'm bound to see the Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Are you bound to?
Contractually.
Well, initially it seemed like I was gonna see it anyway, just because I love the original series. Of course, it's so great.
Is it based on the battle for the Planet of the Apes?
This
do you think
is-
the Ricardo Montalban one?
No, this one's
Because technically, it's not really the Planet of the Apes yet.
No,
right. This one's
Right.
really
So it
like
has to be the Rise
It's sort of like a
Yeah,
retelling
or
of.
it could be transition into the Planet of the Apes.
It's not really. We were talking about. It's not really a.
it's not a remake
Not
of
a
one of the
remake. And
existing
it's not a prequel
ones.
either. It's
Yeah.
sort of a
We're calling it
retelling
a
of
remake.
I mean, like potentially they could do the entire series again based off of this,
Right.
If it
They're pulling a Star Trek on it.
pays off anyway. Yeah, it's basically a retelling of the origin
Is there going to be
story.
another Star Trek movie?
Of course
Because I
there
liked
is.
that
Are you
first one.
2013
It was awesome.
probably? Yeah,
2013 coming
yeah,
out.
it's going to take 2013.
Oh, that long?
Yeah, I think they start shooting I think I read they start shooting in January, and it's not coming out till 2013 because
Abrams.
I thought
Abrams got something else. I think
they did a really nice job with that Star Trek movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
They really nailed the characters.
Yeah, absolutely. It was fun.
It was, though,
chock full of fun.
Somebody had some complaint about
Matt Weinhold hated it.
Oh, that was it. It was Matt Weinhold, and I think he was on the show.
And he did this huge article about everything that was wrong with the movie. It was hilarious.
It wasn't like
you should read that, folks. Go to the Comedy Film Nerds.
He despised it.
Yeah, and search Matt Weinhold, and you'll see this giant article about how you're wrong.
Yeah, I was like, why everybody else is wrong
about
Star
Trek.
Trek.
And nobody's a bigger Star Trek nerd than him.
Oh yeah,
I know.
He's a huge, biggest nerd ever.
Hated it.
So
he's a little strict in his law and his rules about it, though.
Yeah. Dun 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 dun. Anyway, so but I've played action figures with him. we recreated the battle. It was awesome. We were sitting on the floor because he's got all the action figures.
Oh, sure.
So we just set it up. It was awesome. We set up like the fight. Anyway. So what? So Comedy Film Nerds.
Yes, we've got a lot going on.
Yeah, talk it up.
We've got we're starting to distribute feature films now. Digitally, and we just
people can download the whole
feature film. We have Afghanistan, which is Graham Elwood's documentary about going to Afghanistan.
Friend of the show,
yes,
also been on, needs to be on again.
Henry Phillips is Punching the Clown. About
do you have that one?
Yep, we have that digitally and as a DVD. And we just added, and we're the only one to have this digitally, is Dean Haglund's new movie, The Truth Is Out There, which is all about conspiracy theories and all the conspiracy theory people that come up to him after conventions and stuff and tell them their crazy theories.
Wow.
And then it's done in such a way that Dean is like that kind of like moderator where he never judges, and so you can watch it. He kind of moderates it, and you kind of judge for yourself whether this person's out of their minds,
like
or if
Chris Rock and good hair, where he's like, "I'm not saying you shouldn't get your hair done. I'm just saying you might not want to do exactly what you're." Okay.
So it's a fascinating documentary.
Okay, that's great.
Actually, you can read a review of it.
Yes, and it's very long, so you get your money's worth.
Very nice, very nice.
But that's what we're doing, and we've got our podcast and our articles. Neil writes at least one a week.
Yep.
And we're a little behind on a couple movies. We need to catch up on a few, like Crazy Love.
Yeah, Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah,
which I want to see.
Yeah, so do we. Books. Always a lot of books. We got a lot of stuff on the site. So please come by, enjoy, relax, and buy something.
And buy something for the love of God. People, you've done vital work. Neal Weakley, Chris Mancini, thank you so much for coming on the show. And see you next time, folks. Bye.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?